Going live in 5-4. Mic check, mic check. 5-4-3-2. And let's go. Treat others as you would like to be treated. That's the quote that was in today's on in the Rise and Grind planner today. As I woke up this morning, 3:20 a.m., went through my whole routine, jumped into my Rise and Grind planner, and the quote said, "Treat others the way you want to be treated." Now, this was a quote that was submitted by Amy Bennett. She's one of our hashtag Rise and Grind members. All of the quotes in the Rise and Grind planner are submitted by members. And when I read that, I immediately thought, I disagree. I think that the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated, is messed up. I think it's backwards. I think it's opposite. I think it contributes to some of the problems we have in the world today. I really do. I really do. You're probably like, Glenn, you're crazy. Well, I'm going to dive in and I'm going to explain here in just a minute, and then you'll have a better understanding. All right, let's go. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.
Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Wednesday. That's right. Today is Wednesday, May 12th, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it will ever be Wednesday, May 12th, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible, incredible day. Hey, this is also known as CMA Day. That's right, Carter Myers Automotive Group. I'm so excited. Every Wednesday, I get to spend some time with them, training on all kinds of different things. And so it's really been a great experience partnering up with Liza Myers Borges, Scott Simons, and the rest of the crew over there at Carter Myers Automotive. So we celebrate CMA every Wednesday. And if you ever want to be a part of that, you've ever thought about becoming, being in the auto industry, or you want to be a person that actually owns a part of your own dealership, because every single one of their employees is an owner over there, just let me know. I'll hook you up with Liza. I'll hook you up with Scott. They're a great organization. Listen, I am Glenn Lundy. This is episode 868 of hashtag Rise and Grind. And this show is all about motivation, education, and inspiration. That's what we do. And we are currently in a series right now called Oreo. That is the name of the series. And Oreo is a label that I was given as a child because my dad was black and my mom was white. And I've learned over the last few days that this term Oreo is actually considered quite derogatory by some. I didn't necessarily see it as derogatory, but it definitely was a label and definitely attributed to some of my identity issues when I was young. So we're in a series this week called Oreo, and we are discussing the power and the beauty that comes from being different. You see, in my experience, that's what I've found, is that our differences, the things that some use to separate us, are actually the most beautiful things. The most beautiful aspects of humanity, as far as I'm concerned, is our differences. And so this week we've talked about that, the power and beauty that comes from being different. And we've discussed the importance of being around people that don't look like you, being around people that don't necessarily think like you, being around people that even possibly disagree with you, the importance of putting yourself in those situations, right? And we also talked about the fact that how other people's opinions of you do not have to become your reality. Just because you were labeled a certain way or called a certain thing, that does not have to become your reality. And this was a quote submitted by Les Brown. Les Brown was labeled as I can't ever say the word, but he was labeled as mentally retarded when he was a child. And ultimately, a teacher told him that someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And he went on to become one of the greatest speakers, storytellers, and global impactors of all time, right? Crazy. So we discussed that a little bit earlier this week, and we've been really discussing all of these things openly and authentically. And we have made, as a group, collectively, we have made the conscious choice to peel back the layers of even our own beliefs, our own opinions, and our own perspectives, to peel back those layers and allow our minds to look at things a little bit differently, to put ourselves in other people's shoes. And so I've learned so much already. I'm the one leading the charge on this. I'm the teacher, the instructor, the host, the whatever you want to call it. And I've learned a bunch already this week, listening to the Q&A over in Breakfast with Champions, listening to the responses you've been giving me here on Facebook and on the podcast, like just listening to you. I have learned so much, and I am so grateful for that. And so my hope is that you too will learn something through this series. So today we're going to continue this series called Oreo. We're going to continue it today, but before we do, y'all know what we got to do. Oh, yeah! Come on now. Let's go. Let's go. That's right. We got to do some dancing on this show. Come on. Every morning we got to do some dancing. Object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. So we got to get this body in motion. Right now's the time, right? If you're in bed, wake up. Let's go. We ain't got time for that nonsense. Time for you to get rocking and rolling. If you're out and about, do some dancing. Wherever you're at, do some dancing. If you're running, run a little bit harder. If you lift the weight, lift a little bit heavier, right? Lift a little bit heavier. Make it count. That's what we're going to do every single day. We get dancing here on hashtag Rise and Grind. So this is the part of the show where we do a little dancing. It's also the part of the show where I say good morning to you and you say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up and I'll say what's up back. Maybe you're watching on Instagram. Say what's up if you're watching on Instagram. If you're playing or watching on YouTube, the podcast, whatever, you got to connect with me. If you're on Clubhouse, send me a DM. Dude, connect with me. Let's go. All right. Good morning, Melvin Rodriguez. What's up? How you doing, Gina Duffy? We got Brad Smith. Those are the people on Instagram. You can't hear it, but we're listening to a little cover of Uptown Funk. That's what we're doing right now. How you doing, Mary Lynn Wilkins? How you doing, Debbie Drowling Waba? Thank you. I'm glad you're loving the series. What's up, Wendy Reeves? We got Carrie Ann in the house. Sean Weatherby's here. Mr. Randy Pratt with CMA is up in here this morning. How you doing, Anne-Marie Golem Best? You guys are challenging me with some of these names this week. What's up, Nathaniel Banks? How you doing, Eileen Mitnick? Great to see you. Kenny Brock is up in here this morning. My man, Kenny Brock. What's up, Kenny? We've also got Lynn, 7217. We've got Raquel Jackson up in here this morning. We got Sharon Griffin Rogers is up in here. What's up, Elam? Great to see you as well. We got who else on Instagram over here? Brainy79. What's up, Brainy79? I love the Instagram one. We've got Barrett Kraut. We've got Helen Howie. We've got Kim Fair over on Clubhouse. My man Coach Isaac is with us. We've got Sarita and Tim. Melissa has joined us at the table this week. We've got Miss Toy is up in the house. Miss Toy's Sanders. Linda's up in here, and we've got Bree L. What's up, Bree L? Not Brielle, but Bree L. And also Brielle. So we'll say hi to both. We've got Sheila and Dexter and Douglas and Sabrina. We've got Gregory and Evelyn and Patricia and Rick. We've got Sue and Dr. Dude. We've got Lee, and I'm going to scroll to the other side of it. Breakfast table. We've got Hamid and Paulo and Osiris. We've got Sung Ho and Sean and Anthony and Samuel and Nico. We've got Sajad. We've got Phyllis K and Coach. We've got Matt and Helen and hello, and Pamela. We've got Antonio and Mia. All kinds of folks joining us here on #RiseAndGrind this morning. I absolutely stinking love it. Yeah, Capital Walls, where are you? Justine's up in here. We've got Wine Nick Kick. What's up, Wine Nick Kick? That's right. Wine Nick Kick. We've got Annette, the Audacious, is up in here this morning. Dude, packed house. How you doing, Amy Kennedy? Packed house this morning, and I love it. Listen, if there's any of you that have never heard me sing this, I just want you to know, if you change the way you start your day, it'll make a massive impact in your life. I'm a firm believer in that. And you might need help with that. So if you need help changing the way you start your day, if you want a great morning routine that's going to tap into mind, body, and spirit, you can go to themorning5.com. Go to themorning5.com, and you can download my free ebook, The Morning 5 Simple Steps to an Extraordinary Life. And that will help you with your morning routine. So go check that out. And with that said, let's go. Today's episode of #RiseAndGrind. When my oldest daughter, make sure you guys can hear. There we go. When my oldest daughter was 2 years old, her mother and I split up. We split up when she was 2. Her mother and I were never married or anything like that, but we split up when my oldest daughter was 2, and her mom was French Canadian. She was a French Canadian woman from Quebec. And to be honest with you, it was really a surprise that we lasted even that long until my daughter was 2. I mean, we barely knew each other when she got pregnant with my daughter. And we actually had broke up. We broke up that morning, and then she came back and let me know that she was pregnant. So we'd only known each other a few months. And so it was really a surprise that we even lasted that long, because her and I were complete, like beyond opposite. Beyond opposite. Like, she was a fitness junkie, a dedicated, incredibly book smart, super like hard worker, a really long-term thinker. Like, she was a saver, she was all of those things. And I was not. I was exactly the opposite. Like, I was a spontaneous human. I was a reckless human. I weighed like 130 pounds soaking wet. I was a very skinny human, and totally a junk food eater. Like, I still kind of am. I'm working on that. But I definitely was not anything like her. We were so incredibly opposite. And so, needless to say, we saw things, our perspectives on the world and on life were incredibly different, right? Like, we literally saw every single situation differently. Even to this day, her and I can talk about the exact same experience, and we see it completely differently. And so when her and I split up, it wasn't really a surprise. It really wasn't. And I started dating like this young, blonde, very attractive young lady. We'll just say her. We'll use her fake name. Her fake name is Joni. That's what we're gonna call her. I started dating this young blonde, very curvaceous young lady that we are gonna call Joni, and she was just tiny and she was gorgeous and she loved like the finer things in life, right? She was the cheerleader type and she really loved the finer things in life. And I was in love with this little woman, right? I was in love with this little woman. Now, there was one problem. There was one major problem with this particular relationship. And the problem was that she was married. Her husband was deployed overseas when her and I hooked up. And she basically played both of us for quite a while. She played both of us for quite a while, telling him some things, telling me other things. I did not find these things out until later. But she was married, and when I basically ran out of money, she was gone, right? She was gone because she loved the finer things in life. So that relationship, man, we saw things a lot differently. Like, she came from a different world than I came from. We were very, we had a lot of synergies in that particular relationship, but we really saw things differently, like the covenants of marriage, for example, and what that meant, right? So then Joni, after Joni, I dated a bartender. I dated a bartender. She was an Italian girl, so we'll give her a fake name too. Her fake name will be Stefania. We'll call her Stefania. All right. So I dated Stefania, and Stefania was a beautiful woman. She was the prior homecoming queen. She was just absolutely this gorgeous Italian with this beautiful smile. And I got to tell you, man, I was in love. Like, I was so in love with this human. She just had this spirit about her, and everybody liked her everywhere she went. Something about bartenders. I've always been a fan. My wife now is also a bartender, right? And I just was in love with this woman. And there was only one problem. There was only one problem. She loved cocaine more than she loved me. And that became a big problem. Like, I was shocked when I found out that this woman loved cocaine in the way that she did. I had no idea. Like, we dated for 6 months. I had no idea. I literally just thought that she went to the bathroom a lot. That's all I thought. I just thought I'm like, man, that girl's got to pee a lot. But ultimately, she loved cocaine. And it was crazy because she was highly respected in the community. And my thought process was, if she could function, be highly respected, hold a job, be this beautiful person, if she could do that and do this drug, then I could probably do the same. Right? Like, if she could do it, I could do it. And here's the lesson that I ended up learning out of that. And the lesson I want to share with you is, what might be for others might not necessarily be for you. Let's just put it that way. What might be for others might not necessarily be for you. Because I started to get into this game, this drug game, and my goodness, it ended badly. It ended really badly. Like, not only did our relationship end really badly with fights and black eyes and police involvement and all of that rough stuff, right? All of that stuff. Not only did that end badly, but those activities that I was participating in ultimately took my initial girlfriend, my daughter's mom, decided that she was going to take custody of my daughter from me because of the person that I had become. And she did. One day I was sitting at the house, knock on the door, boom. There's a guy, process papers. He's like, dude, we're taking custody of your daughter. You can go fight it in court if you want. There's really nothing you can do. You were never married. Even though you're on the birth certificate, you don't have any rights in the state of Arizona. And so from knock on the door, 30 days later, boom, my daughter was gone. She was taken away from me. I was no longer allowed to see her, contact her, any of that stuff because of my choice to follow suit with what I thought, hey, if she could do it, I can do it, right? So when that happened, when I lost custody of my daughter, when they took my daughter, I want you to just imagine for just a second, those of you that are parents, I want you to imagine for just a second that you spend every day with your child, and then all of a sudden one day they tell you you can't see your child anymore, you can't talk to your child. If you got a problem with it, take it up with the courts, right? And then when I went to take it up with the courts, they were like, you need $15,700 up front. We have to do DNA tests, so on and so forth. And I didn't have that kind of money. I was a young kid. I was 21 years old. I was 26 years old at that point. I was 21 years old when I had my kid. So anyways, when this happened, I left. I left the town that I grew up in. I packed up, no warning, scared to death. I just left. I quit my job. I walked out on the lease that I had on the house that I was staying in. I left everything I owned, all of my yearbooks, all of my pictures, all of my stuff. If it didn't fit in a suitcase and it didn't fit in my Ford Mustang that I was driving at the time, it got left behind. I left it in a big pile in the living room of this house that I was renting. The poor landlord that rented that place, when they came back, everything was just in a big pile. Like I cleaned out every single room, put everything in a big pile, and that's what they got back, was a house full of my junk, my stuff, and furniture. And I just freaking left. Gone. Out of there. And I decided after this series of unfortunate relationships and after this now loss of custody of my daughter, I decided I was going to go become a professional poker player. That's right. I decided I was going to go become a professional poker player. That was my plan. And so I started living in casinos, like literally living in casinos, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every single day in casinos. All my friends were all in the, and I shouldn't say just casinos and underground like poker rooms. And all of my friends were in that same exact scene. They were all in the poker scene. We all slept all day and we were out all night and we wore sunglasses always. Even in the middle of the night, we were up and we were wearing sunglasses. We didn't want anybody to see our eyes. We didn't want anybody to be able to connect with us. So it was sleep all day, up all night, underground, seedy poker rooms, casinos, all of that stuff. And I had warrants out for my arrest. I had bad credit. I was laying low. I was drinking. I was drugging. I was studying the game. Like I had found my identity in a group of underground misfits who would literally watch you starve if they got dealt better cards than you that day. Dead serious. If they got better cards than you that day and that left you broke, sorry, bro. Wish I could help, but you know how it is. You lose your money at the table. I mean, we're friends and all, but you know how it is. It was an interesting scene, right? But that's where I found my identity. And yes, it was very dark and it was sinister and it was cutthroat and it was a world of invisible people that were hiding behind their glasses only to be seen by those who understood and shared the same identity that they shared. It's crazy how we do that, right? It's crazy how we consistently surround ourselves with those that allow us to hide instead of surrounding ourselves with those that force us to shine. Isn't that interesting? We consistently put ourselves in environments with those that allow us to hide, allow us to dim our light, because it's far more uncomfortable to put ourselves in positions and put ourselves around people that are going to push us, that are going to challenge us, that are going to force us to shine. And so in this season of my life, it really took me all over. I lived all over kind of Arizona and obviously spent time over in Nevada. I just kind of like traveled all over the place, wherever I could find a poker house, wherever I could find somebody in this dark, seedy world, that I lived in, someone that could identify with me. And I spent some time, made my way all the way over to Southern California so that I could connect and play poker and do things like that out there. And basically, I was just getting in wherever I could fit in with other players. No real relationships, all surface level. Everything surface level. I didn't want anybody inside here. I didn't want anybody to know who I was on the inside. I didn't even know who I was on the inside. And so all my relationships were service, right? Let's hang out until I screw you over or you screw me over. How's that sound? You and I will be friends until I screw you over or you screw me over, and then we'll move from there, right? And that's what it was. It was just one like me screwing somebody over or somebody screwing me over and over and over and over again. My life was basically screwed, right? Have you ever felt that way? Am I talking to anybody? Unruly said, damn, I'm 26. I can relate with this. Yes. You ever feel that way? Like you just keep getting screwed? Like it just keeps messing up? Look, like your life is just a series of screw ups. You ever feel that way? Man, my life was just a series of screw ups. That's all it was. So I'm here to tell you, I want to tell you something for those that feel that way, that your life is just a series of screw ups. I want to tell you, it took a ton of screws to build the Statue of Liberty. But one day, they all came together. And it represents the freedom that exists here in this country, the United States of America. And so I want to say the same thing to you. It's going to take a ton of screws to build you up. But one day, it'll come together. And ultimately, you too will be free. I assure you. Hang in there. Just keep tightening those screws. So listen, in my life, finally the rope ran out. All right. The rope ran out and I fell hard, lost, alone, invisible, homeless, hopeless, depressed, suicidal, all of those things, right? All of those things. That was my existence. And after I attempted to take my own life, I finally realized the cold, hard truth. I finally realized that you take yourself wherever you go. You take yourself wherever you go. And see, Glenn had different girlfriends. Glenn was in different cities. Glenn was in different poker rooms. Glenn was in different environments, but the results continued to be the same because the constant in that particular situation every single time was Glenn. Glenn was the constant. Listen, the Bible puts it this way. In Matthew 7:3-5, it says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! You hypocrite! First, take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye." See, I couldn't see clearly. I had a plank over my own eye. It was everybody else's fault. I was constantly pointing the fingers, and ultimately I had to have my log removed, my plank removed, so that I could finally see the truth. And the truth is very, very simple. Your mom probably taught you this when you were a kid. Pointing fingers at others never solves anything. It's so funny how it's the simple truth. When you point, you've heard this before, right? When you point at someone else, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you, right? You've heard that. When you point at someone else, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. Listen to me. The world is so busy judging others, pointing fingers, and pointing blame. What if you shifted the narrative? What if you shifted that narrative and you said, you know what? Instead of pointing and blaming everyone else, Maybe I'm going to take a look at my own planks and the reason that I see things this way. Maybe I'm going to clear the planks out of my eyes so I can start to put myself in other people's shoes and see their perspectives. Listen, I understand why some people find Black Lives Matters offensive. I understand that. I understand why some people feel that way. I also see and understand why some people can find all lives matters offensive. I see that because I've removed this plank. I'm not pointing at everybody else. I'm looking at Glenn. I'm going, Glenn, what can you add to this conversation? How can you bring people together versus pulling people apart? How can you pull back your own onion layers and say, okay, who cares what you think, Glenn? Who cares your perspective, Glenn? Who cares how you feel about it, Glenn? How do they feel about it, Glenn? You see, I see why the division increases, and I have a solution. I have a solution to all of this stuff that is going on. I know that sounds bold, but I have a solution right here for you. Remove the plank from your eye first, and then learn to treat others the way they want to be treated. You see, at the beginning of this episode, there was a quote, treat others as you would like to be treated. And I told you, I disagree with that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I believe that it is time for you to treat others the way they want to be treated. And together, if we do that, we can make the world a better place.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Hashtag rise and grind, hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my
Listen,
mind,
if you need more videos like this, you can go to glenlundy.com. We got lots of videos up there, 868 of them to be exact. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you subscribe. Drop me a note, let me know that you're here. If you're watching on YouTube, same thing. Hit that subscribe button, drop me some comments. I'd like to get into it. If you want to talk about this more, you can meet me over on Clubhouse. We're going to be over on Clubhouse all day today. We're on Clubhouse all day. Clubhouse is amazing. Clubhouse is out on Android now, so you're welcome to join. If you're on the Android platform, make sure you come join us on Clubhouse. Join our Breakfast with Champions Club. Those of you that are in Clubhouse right now, if you would, go ahead and hit that plus sign. Invite some more people into the room. We're going to continue this conversation over there. It's going to be great. All right? But most importantly, listen, I need you to understand something. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling with you, okay? I'm not shouting at you. I'm shouting for you. You see, I believe that you and I are children of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And I believe that God made us to become the absolute best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. That's what I believe. And so I know you're working towards that. I'm working towards that. We're going to screw up sometimes. That's okay. That's totally okay. Just keep stepping in the direction of your greatness. I need you to win. I need you to win at such a huge and powerful level because I understand that when you rise, we rise. Right? When you rise, we rise. So listen, friend, I love you. I do. If nobody's told you that yet today, I want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. So get out there, have an amazing day today, an over-the-top day, and come back here again tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. We'll do this thing all over again. Hashtag rise and grind. Have a great day. See you.
Don't stop, get it, get it, get it. Good morning, don't stop, get it, get it, get it. Good morning, don't stop, get it, get it. Hashtag rise and grind. Let's go, let's get it. Let's go, let's go, let's get it. Hashtag rise and grind. Let's go, let's get it. Let's go, let's go, let's get it. Hashtag rise and grind. I know you with it. Let's go, let's go, let's get it. Hashtag rise and grind. Let's go, let's get it. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, everybody in the land. Make them all get up and turn the volume up and dance. I'm up like a rooster about my future. Better get used to the routine. I ain't sleep, I'm living the dream. Feeling like I can do anything. Cause this is God's plan. I wake up, I thank the man. Brush my teeth and wash my hands. Then I get back to the grind. Got victory on my mind. Success and dollar signs. Now open all the blinds so they can't block my shine. Cause I am the light. Amen. Going platinum with this anthem for the AM. Take passion, massive action, dedication. We the champions, so it's a celebration. This is our time, and that's for sure. Every day we grinding, that's for sure.
If you's a hitter like Josh, oh, lock in with Glenn and tell a friend to let him know. We hashtag